And
Mhm.
and okay, however, so that's just the background. But Zionism was a political movement in order to try to end anti-Semitism. It was an attempt to have a place for the Jews to set up their own country where they could be safe. I'm sure you know about the pogroms in Russia
Yeah,
and
of course,
throughout all of
of course.
those years, terrible suffering that people
Mhm.
went through, and throughout all of Europe. And
I do have a question. Like, where do you think anti-Semitism comes from? I will quickly tell you, like, a theory I heard. Like, Europeans pushed the Jews to become only money lenders. Like, many professions were outlawed, and
for
then of
sure,
course people accumulated debts, and they started to see the money lenders, the Jews, as the evil, like the guys we owe money to, and let's get rid of them better than to repay our debts. Is
for
that
sure.
is that correct,
That's for
or?
sure a part of it. I don't think that's necessarily the root of it, but that's absolutely a big contributing factor. There's a book here that 1 second. There's a fascinating book. It's called The Devil and the Jew. 1 second. Let me turn off the blur on the background. 1 second. It's called The Devil and the Jews.
Okay, I don't know it.
And this is about like how
Joshua
the
Trachtenberg. Okay.
medieval conception of the Jew
Mm-hmm.
in relation to modern anti-Semitism. And
Okay.
so I think it started as a religious persecution because we didn't accept Jesus, right? So the original persecution from the Romans, which turned into the first Christian
Yeah.
empire. So it started as a religious persecution because we didn't keep
Mhm.
Jesus, we didn't accept Jesus. I
Yeah.
think Jews
You killed him, let's say. Yeah.
and also that we killed him, right? That was
Yeah.
also a part of it, for sure. That the Jewish people in general, we lived separately. We would
Mhm.
live in our ghettos, we would live separately, and we had our own customs and our own ways of being.
Mhm.
So I think, and then for sure, like what you said, that they weren't allowed to own land, they weren't allowed to have many of the guilds, many of the professions, so they had to get into money lending, and this added to it for sure.
Mhm.
But anti-Semitism is, it's the oldest hatred in the world. They say it's the one constant in every generation and in every way. I don't know, spiritually speaking, where it comes from, why it's so prevalent, and there's something to it. People say, well, like, obviously we've got to be that bad if every nation hates us in all history, so then we probably deserve it. I don't think that's the answer, but I don't know. That's a very big separate question where it comes from.
Another theory I heard was that you have Christians, you have Arabs, Muslims, and everything, but Jews seem to stick together and help each other out more than other religions. Like, Protestants are not going to help some other Protestant. Jews will help each other, and it helps them to be economically successful. And then people get envious, and many are educated, get into higher positions, have political clout, and people just get envious.
That's I think that's for sure a piece of it, that there's envy at the success in business and very many ways. Like you said, this is for sure a historical fact that Jewish people feel a very strong connection, like you said, to each other, and trust.
Mhm.
There's a certain bond, so they in business they would be able to borrow money or count on goods
Mhm.
coming from other places that made it
Mhm.
easier in terms of certain ways. Yeah, there's hundreds of books that are written about this.
Mhm.
I don't know what the one answer is, or if there even
Mhm.
is one answer.
Mhm.
But there's no question that historically it's been true. It's been true in going back to the Spanish Inquisition in the 1490s and the Crusades even before that. And
Mhm.
it's just always been.